So oftentimes there's a need to run reports to see what kind of volume you're having on your RightFax server. In order to do this, you need to use the RightFax Enterprise Fax Reporter. This is installed as a part of the administrative utilities installed, and that is generally going to be installed on your RightFax server itself. There are ways that you can install it remotely on a workstation, but that becomes a little bit more cumbersome. So assuming you have the admin utils already installed on the RightFax server, we'll go to Start, All Programs, and then the Open Text folder, and we'll launch the Enterprise Fax Reporter. This is going to bring up the Enterprise Fax Reporter interface, and there's a couple of key pieces of information that you're going to need to know. Most importantly, you're going to need to know the SQL Server and the instance where your RightFax database resides. So in order to run the reports, we're going to select File and Open Report. And RightFax have a number of canned reports that are a part of the system. So depending on the type of report that you need, you can just go ahead and select that particular report. And we just want to note that the Enterprise Fax Reporter uses a Crystal Reports engine. So these reports can actually be created and modified using Crystal Reports. So let's go ahead and select one of our outbound reports so that we can get the volume numbers that we need. So I'm going to select the Usage Outbound Users Reports and select Open. And then I have to specify the SQL Server and the instance of SQL, if there is one, where my RightFax database resides. And in this case, my RightFax database is on a SQL server called Syscom VM. Now, if you need to find out where your RightFax database resides, you can easily do that by going into the Open Text folder and opening the Enterprise Fax Manager. Once that comes up, go ahead and select the server name over here on the left, and then double-click on the RightFax Doc Transport Module service, and it will bring up the Doc Transport configuration screen. And at the bottom here, you will notice it has the SQL connection string. And the first part of that is going to be the SQL Server and instance where RightFax resides. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and then we're going to cancel out of this interface, and then go back into my Enterprise Reporter interface and paste that information. And then now you want to make sure that also the name of the database is correct, and however you're authenticating with RightFax, you're going to select that option, whether you're doing it through a SQL Server authentication, which would require a SQL account and password, or whether you're using Windows authentication. So once we do that, and we only have to set that up once. Once we do that the first time, it's going to retain the settings for the SQL Server, so you don't need to go back and do that another time. So for my outbound usage report, I'm going to go ahead and select, in terms of my date, I'm going to select the date range. So in this case, I'll select, we're going to get our reports generating from September 1, and we want our end date to be September 30th. And then we click OK. And it's going to go out, let me go ahead and maximize this so you can see it a little better. It's going to go out, and for all the users on this particular fax server, and this is one of our test servers, it will come back with all of the faxes that they sent for that particular date range. And in this case, we have 3 users who sent faxes. The faxes are tallied for each user, and then there's also a grand total. This grand total is the number that we're going to be concerned with. So in this case, this report is telling me that for the month of September, we had a total of 42 pages of faxes sent outbound. So that's our outbound. Now we're going to go ahead and run the inbound fax usage report so that we can gather the information for the inbound statistics. So I'm going to go to File, Open Report, and this time we'll go ahead and find the usage report inbound by users. Again, we'll put in our SQL information here, and then I'm going to specify the same date range. So we want September 1 through September 30th, and we click OK. And again, you'll see a list by each user, all of the faxes that were received. It will be listed here. And in this case, we have multiple pages, and you'll know when there's multiple pages because the Page Plus option will not be grayed out here. So we can cycle through each individual page, or we can just go all the way to the end. And at the end of the report, it'll give us a total, a grand total of the number of received pages that came in for the month of September. So now, when we add up the number of received pages from the report, as well as the number of sent pages from our sent report, that'll give us the grand total number of pages. Some of the other options that you have once you have your report generated is you can obviously print the report to a printer. You can also export the report out to a crystal report file, or you have the options of exporting it as a PDF, a CSV, or an Excel, or a Word document, so that you can then you take that information and manipulate it or present it to whom you need to accordingly. And that's it. So that's how you would generate your total volume report for outbound and inbound faxes for a specific time period by using the Enterprise Fax Reporter, which is generally installed on the RightFax server by default.